Giants just pulled it out, kneeled it out.
The Packers got a safety though somewhere. It looks like
That's wild.
11
Oh
seconds
shit!
left.
7 seconds.
Giants are up 27-22. They had to have gotten a safety in the past couple minutes.
Yeah, probably. All right. It might just do your audio only, but we'll just see. In and out. All right.
Oh, it was me.
You're good. You're good. All right. How y'all doing? This is the Leather Helmet Fandom Week 5 bets. I got a special guest with us. We got Declan Brooks from one of my home fantasy leagues. He's going to give some feedback, give his own picks. But let's get right to it before we get these 1 o'clock games off the rip. So a lot of guys I've been targeting this week. I'm actually targeting a lot of unders. Some guys have been having really good rushing games, specifically Josh Jacobs and Rashad Penny have been on a streak. But I see them facing tough opponents this week. Penny is facing Jacobs is facing the Saints. Verify my info. Jacobs is facing KC, Chiefs, and Penny is facing the Saints. So I got both of them on their under rushing. Penny's at 58.5, and Jacobs is 60.5, so almost at the same line. But I took both their unders. I think the Saints and Seahawks game is going to be a lot more hard-nosed defense and a slow pace. Penny actually got banged up on his shoulders, so he's been known for injuries. So one good side, not that I hope injury on any player, but if he does get injured, we got Caleb Kosman joining in. 1 second, let me get him in here.
What's up?
You hear Caleb, Declan, or no?
I feel like I just heard him go,
Are you in?
Let me get a...
All right, but yeah, so I really like the unders for Penny and Jacobs. Both of them have actually been over this line 3 of 4 of their games. KC has a very surprising rush defense this year. Fournette only got -3 yards on him. Jonathan Taylor of the Colts, he only had 71 yards on 21 attempts. Eckler only had 38 yards on 14 attempts. And James Conner only had 28 yards on 10 attempts. So I really think it could be a product of game script because everyone knows KC's offense is explosive. And if they get ahead, a lot of the other teams have to abandon the run game. But those are my two guys that I'm really crushing the under on. One other honorable mention I didn't bet on. Baker Mayfield is going to have a awful time against the Niners just because he's been having an awful season. But look for him if you want another under. Any specific players or teams stand out to you, Declan? Shit up in here.
I definitely am looking at... I think the Miami-New York Jets game is going to be a very lackluster game today. I mean, unless Zach Wilson's going to be much better than last week, I don't see it being that huge of a game. I mean, is it what's his name? Can't remember his first name. Is it EJ Moore on the Jets? I don't see a lot of these Jets receivers getting a lot of explosion out of anything. And Miami at least has one thing going for them is that there's a couple running backs working hard. But I mean, you have Raheem Mostert just playing a great role, but your quarterback situation is just really a sad situation for Miami because it just tosses them up in the air when they were starting to hit a little bit of momentum going through the first 2 to 3 weeks. So, talking about lackluster games, I don't see that being a good game today. The one game I feel like that's going to be a good game today, in my opinion, is really just going to be the Philly-Arizona game. I'm an Eagles fan, obviously, but I feel like Philly's going to Arizona on a hot streak, and you might see Kyler Murray take that personal and play his balls off. But the money line doesn't really look like that's going to be the deal. Is it Julio Jones is out for them?
So Julio Jones is out, but he's on the
No, he's got a different team, isn't he?
Yeah.
No.
So
I'm looking at
Cardinals,
the
you
update
got
they got this morning.
they still got Hopkins out, so they're depending on Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown.
Marquise Brown's been questionable all week though, which has been making me nervous because he's on a couple of my teams. But I feel like he's just poised to have another good game, which he's been having for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, my luck with like betting Philly sports is god awful. So every time
I
like
see Philly going into Arizona and walking all over them today.
Yeah, exactly. That too. I just feel like for how solid of a team they are and how much talent they have, like it's scary to bet anything on this specific game, an away game against
the Chicago Minnesota game. I was talking to Josh before this cast a little bit about it. I think you're going to see a good game because Minnesota's passing defense has been, good, and Chicago hasn't really been like leaning on their throw game too much. That run game's been explosive, and I don't think Minnesota's ready for a run game today. Chicago's obviously coming to their house. It looks like the money line looks like Minnesota's going to throw all over them, but I don't know if their defense is going to let up as many yards in the air as Minnesota thinks they're going to get today. I honestly think Chicago is going to dictate more pace, just having just Khalil Herbert running all over him today.
So you don't think like Jefferson or like any of the receivers, like Irv Smith, the tight end, are going to have any explosive plays?
Justin Jefferson's been playing out of his head. I mean, he's been playing out of his head the whole time. I think that's going to probably be their only menace today is like, their one big play downfield. But what I'm more saying is I feel like Chicago, because they've talked about it a couple weeks recently, that Chicago's leaning on the run more than most teams this season so far. I'm just, that pace of the air ball and, putting it up and letting Jefferson make his plays and everything. I feel like you're going to see, not a lot of opportunity for that because that requires time. And I feel like Chicago is going to have the ball longer than you expect them to have today, which is probably going to really mess up that whole flow. Justin Jefferson, I think, is still going to be over 15 to 20 points in most leagues.
Okay, what's the over-under for Vikings? I think it's actually really low, so Vegas might be thinking just like you. I think it might be set at 41 for the Vikings.
Money line, I didn't look at the over-under. Money line's plus 295 for Chicago, minus 385 for Minnesota. It looks like they think like Minnesota has, I wouldn't say much more favorable odds, but more favorable odds. They have a more put-together team. I mean, they have the passing and the run a little bit still, but I just feel like Chicago's been using that run so much, they're going to eat up a lot of that clock today, where that offense isn't going to get to, play the field as much.
Yeah, I actually like it. If I were to make a play, I'd probably do like an alternate under, like under 50 total points, and then I'd do like an over, I don't know, maybe like Khalil Herbert, 20-plus yards. Yeah, you can do that too. You'll probably get better odds with it over Jefferson and under points. But yeah, I like that thought process. One guy that I'm really hot on this week is why am I blanking on his first name? What's his first name? Pickens, the Steelers rookie. George Pickens. Yeah, I love him this week. There's something about getting on the bandwagon. Not really were on it before because he had a 100-yard game last week with 8 targets. But
a new quarterback.
Anytime you have a backup quarterback, they play so much better with like the third strings and the second strings, which makes sense. But nobody thinks like, especially when they're not like a high drafted NFL guy, nobody thinks that they're going to blow up for 100 yards because they're brand new.
There's no game plan to them though. They don't have a game plan to them. Like it's why Philly, every time somebody gets excited about like a practice squad player, it's because you have no clue who the hell the guy is.
Yeah. But because Pickett is getting his first start, I think he's gonna struggle when it comes to just turnovers. But I think he's gonna sling it. I mean, everybody knows he has a really good big arm, and I think his favorite target of this game is going to be Pickens, just like last game. I expect at least 8 targets, up to 10.
You think a big game for Pete Freiermuth?
Freiermuth? No. I mean, like I could see him have a decent game, but I still think Pickens is.
I think this is going to be a good game. I'm happy you brought it up. I feel like it's going to be a good game for Pitt going to Buffalo. Yeah.
But I mean, if you're looking like specifically at bets, I have Pickens over 3.5 receptions. So if he gets 8 targets, only to catch 50% of them, that's plus odds at 108. So I dropped 3 units on that. probably one of my biggest bets of the week, my second biggest bet. I also took his over receiving yards, set at 41.5. But that's a negative 113, so I only put 1 unit on it.
Yeah, I'm looking at some numbers. Look at this
Yeah.
thing. Stephon Diggs, 79.5 over under is minus 110. Then you take his alternate receiving at 80, and it's minus 122. Is that just me being, like, skeptical about, like, people
You're gonna lose my
Vegas
video for a
knowing
second.
more than
I'm
everyone,
checking my,
or should I just
so I can
slam the
see what you're talking
79 because it's basically saying, like, hey, 80 is minus 122,
Yeah.
but 79 is minus 110. How does that even make sense?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of books do that, like their alternates. I'll go over one that I actually have down as a +1, but it doesn't make sense because the line is negative, his normal line. But you're talking about Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
I like that you brought that up. I have a really long shot parlay with Pickens and Davis from the Bills. The Steelers have let up 100+ yard receiver 3 of the 4 weeks, the first 4 weeks, and the only person that didn't reach was the Jets, and they still let up 75 yards to Corey Davis. Like, they've been letting people just sling all over them. So I think it's potential. Davis has a big play, easily hits 100 receiving yards. So my same game parlay is 100 receiving yards for Davis. The highest Pickens can get is 90 receiving yards. That's the highest line they have. And both of them to score 1 touchdown each. You get plus 21,000 odds. So
How many units are you taking on that?
just 0.1. So, like, if we were to hit that long shot, you're going to go up 20 units. So, like, let's just say your unit was $100 and you drop $10 on it, you're going to win $200 off your $10 bet. Well, over $200. But, yeah, I really like both of them just because of both the Steelers' defense and also because Pickens could have a breakout first starting with Pickett.
Just to pad that stat more, too,
I like Gabe Davis
cornerback
too.
Witherspoon.
I like Gabe Davis having
His first
those
year
yards
starting is
because
out
he
this
had
game, and
he was
our
off 2 weeks
strong
ago.
safety
Had to let Stephon work a little
Declan
more.
Brooks
Now
is out.
Are you able
Can you
to
hear
hear Caleb?
I can a little bit. He's not loud. I can hear him.
You're probably picking up from my mic then, Caleb.
Why, he can hear me sort of?
Was I
not
talking
really?
over him?
Yeah.
Well, because you have it on
Yeah, sorry
Skype,
about
so
that.
it's not gonna.
Let me
It's
see
not running through that.
Let me see if we can pull this out. See how much echo we get. It's not really a big deal if we do or not. Get him on out. All right. Let's see if we can get Declan. You can speak, Declan. See if it comes in. Oh, it's not coming in. It's
I'll
weird.
just leave it on the thing.
Huh?
I would just leave it on the thing.
Yeah, but you can't hear, can you?
No. Fuck it though. But yeah, like I was saying, Witherspoon in the corner is out, and our strong safety Edmonds is out, and he usually kind of plays the deep ball, and Gabe Davis is usually the deep ball guy as well, while Diggs is the slot guy.
I lost
He still
Caleb
obviously
today. I
can
heard
have
him
a big
saying,
one,
the guy
but it's
playing the
more
deep
Gabe
ball.
Davis that does those.
Yeah, he's just
And-
saying both Pickens and Davis play the deep ball. Here, you want to just pass the mic?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what, he can't hear me on this? Oh. All right, so what I was just basically saying was Witherspoon, our first year starting corner, is out, as well as Edmonds, our strong safety, which usually defends the deep ball and anything that goes past it, while Fitzpatrick kind of just plays the free safety role and just roams around and tries to make a play. So with them two being out, I can see Gabe Davis taking a very big, deep one down the field, and like Josh just said, they usually let him up. So
I'm
just
am
padding
still
that stat
talking?
more because I really like
I really can't hear Caleb. I gotta be honest with you.
the bets or the lines this game. What's that?
I keep getting like
So
a
can you
couple
hear me?
seconds at a time.
Yeah, that's weird. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly, Josh.
Let's just go through this then.
Maybe it's going through my
Let-
headset.
Let Caleb just get his stuff
Just
out, so
weird.
I'm not talking over to him.
Nah, you're
I
good.
feel-
Nah,
I
you're
don't want to
good.
keep interrupting him.
No, you're good. It's not a big deal. He was just saying that the Steelers Witherspoon cornerback is out, and he usually plays the deep ball.
Were you saying Edmonds on the Bills is out, or was Edmonds also on the Steelers?
Some-
I'm not a big.
Yeah, neither am I. Somebody on the secondary of the Steelers is out, and he expects because of that them to even be worse than they already were, letting up 100+ yard games left and right.
Oh yeah, I see Gabe Davis having a good day. I mean, he hasn't been having bad days. He was out, with an abdominal injury for a week. I see him having a good day just because they have the opportunity to really spread out the Steelers' defense today. I feel like Stephon and Gabe Davis are going to be going crazy today on them.
Yeah.
I think the Steelers are going to put some points up because that young quarterback's going to have fun. But I feel like the Bills are just going to
try now.
Have a big game on them.
Now. I think it'll work with them.
Hello.
I can hear you now, Caleb.
All right, we're good. It's just our Skype settings.
Oh, he can hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He can just call on a cell phone. That's
yeah. All right. You got any other lines or teams you like? So I like Pickens. I have over for both his receptions and receiving yards. I got that same game parlay. I got Penny and Jacobs under their rushing yards. My favorite spread or just team line right now is the 49ers. They're at -6.5 spread. I absolutely honestly, I would be fine going up to -9.5 because I think the 49ers are just defensively the best team in the NFL right now. They're averaging less than 12 points per game to opponents. They just destroyed the Rams last week, 24-9. Garoppolo just has the better chemistry, and he works better with Shanahan, the coach. So the Panthers are atrocious, and the 49ers are coming up, and their defense is the best. So I don't see how the 49ers don't win by at least one touchdown, So at -110 odds, that's my biggest bet of the week. I have it down at 4 units. But yeah, the only other one thing you always want to look for when you're putting in bets is just check the alternate lines or weird bets. So in the 49ers game, if you look at the rushing props, Jeff Wilson has the highest line. It's 67, I think. His over under, and then Christian McCaffrey's is at 52. So that's Vegas expecting Wilson to have more rushing yards. And if you go all the way down on FanDuel, it has a prop, and it says most rushing yards throughout the whole game. If you look at that specifically, they have Christian McCaffrey as the lead pack at -120 odds. And Wilson's goes to positive odds at +115. So I just took Jeff Wilson to have the most rushing yards throughout the whole game, every player, at 1 unit, because you get better odds. And the only thing downside really I could see is if Debo has a breakout play in a rushing play and goes for 50, 60 yards, but he hasn't really been seeing too many rushing opportunities. He's only had 2 and 3 the last 2 games. I think they're really trying to stray away from that side. I know he prefers to play the receiver role. But yeah, that's all my bets for the week.
A little off topic, but it looks like your Barkley and Giants same game parlay already hit.
Yeah, but I didn't put that out there, but I did. My first bet of the week, the early London game, was Barkley 50+ rushing yards and Giants +10.5 on the spread. I put 2 units on that myself. It just felt like a lock.
-127.
Yeah.
So it is.
Yeah, it was juice, but I just knew that
crazy.
Barkley was guaranteed his attempts. And then I just think the Giants' defense is a lot more underrated than people are getting credit for. And the coaching staff that they brought in is honestly really impressive. Between the who was it? The Vikings? The defensive coordinator, I forget who they brought in from, but he came from a really good defensive team. He's honestly ugly as hell.
O'Connell or something? Or that's their head coach?
That's the head coach. He looks weird, but he's really stout defensive mind.
I would say my favorite bets, I didn't really look farther than the Eagles and Steelers. There's not many good lines on the Eagles game, to be honest, that I like too much.
What do you think about Ertz' revenge game, though? You think Ertz can go off?
The only reason I say
I don't know.
yeah is because what's his name is questionable. Was questionable coming into it. Hollywood. And I believe there's someone else that is injured and out on the Cardinals. Let me see real fast. Cardinals depth chart. But basically, the only wide receiver or target, should I say, that was good to go. Yeah, see, Rondo Moore is questionable. AJ Green was questionable. Marquise Brown was questionable, but obviously they're playing
even
now.
more reason Ertz.
Yeah. Humphreys is questionable right now still. Which is obviously their left tackle, and he's going to be pressed to throw a lot more. So they're going to have to throw it quick, which is usually equating to shorter passes, not longer downfield passes, which is where Ertz is. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. I just feel like that gives him more of a reason to go off. Plus, I don't think it's really about him going off. I think it's just Murray really loves him, and he's short, so he knows how to move out of the pocket and then find him on the slant or the go route of whatever Ertz is running to get it to him. As far as like moving and throwing to him while he's sitting in the pocket doesn't really happen much. So as long as he can get moving and run towards the sidelines, then he could usually find.
I feel like
Ertz
if I
and give
took
it.
Ertz, I would probably take his receptions before I took his yardage.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't know what they're at, but yeah, if they're at good numbers, I would agree with that as well. But my main ones that I like, just because all I really looked at was like Steelers and Eagles games, just do same game parlays. I really like Kenny Pickett to have his season debut to go over 200. It's at 201 now. It was at 199
for passing yards.
Yeah, for
I
passing
like that a
yards.
lot.
Because I know they're going to be down. Like, people can twist this any way they want. We have two of our starting defenders out. You have T.J. Watt out. What's his name? Hurt his groin last week, but he's still playing.
That's crazy. It's that low.
And they're at plus 14 for the spread. So there's no way they're not going to be throwing it a shit ton of times. Like, even if it's too Najee, like, they're going to be throwing it. And this dude, if you watch him during the preseason, looked way better and way more accurate than Trubisky, and Trubisky just showed it. I also think he will try to, like, do some deep ball passes, like, more than two, honestly. And one of them is probably going to be a pick. But the thing is like, they're just going to be down so much that doesn't even matter. Like, just going to be throwing. As long as there's not, like, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out.
You think he's going to try to run a lot?
I think there's going to be some. Yeah. I would say, I don't know what his line's at. I tried looking at his line, and it wasn't there at first. I don't know if it is there now. But basically, our offensive line is very good at pass protection this year, and a lot of people don't know that. But as far as run blocking goes, they suck big balls, and they can't make any pockets. So they can actually defend the pass rush. But the thing is Trubisky has just been complete dog shit, and that's why he got benched in the middle of a game. And Coach Tomlin barely ever does that, obviously, because Ben's been there for many years. But anyway, even when we had that QB carousel, he barely did that during games. But yeah, I think he's just gonna want to get it out of the pocket and off to all of his receivers and try some deep balls. So at 200 receiving yards, they're probably gonna be down with 14 spread. I really like it. And then another one is Pat Freiermuth. I think if he needs to get it out of there, it's either going to be Najee or Pat. Obviously, the tight end running backs, just for the dump offs. But the thing is like, Pat Freiermuth is, like, honestly amazing. I wouldn't say amazing. Very good at route running for a tight end.
I disrespected him.
And he's obviously a big dude, so he'll go up and get it. And I just really love his number at 34, I believe it is. It might be at 36 now. Let me see real fast. So,
I don't know.
Yeah, 36 and a half. I really like it. But honestly, it can be spread all around the field for the Steelers offense. But that's why I like, what's his name's, passing more.
I feel like Claypool's been, like, gone, like, disappeared.
They haven't been scheming in him. That's the thing, is like they don't really scheme in to play the game.
Which is weird. He's a big boy.
Yeah, he used to do what Pickens has done this year, which is really just one-on-one, go up and get it, and now that's kind of like Pickens' role. So I don't really know what Claypool is going to like plan out to be, but he's just not part of the game script like really ever. So it's really
I feel like
just
they're wasting him
Pickens,
right now. I
Johnson,
feel like
and
they're like not
Fryermuth
even
now,
using
and
him.
then Najee
They
kind of
don't
just
have.
runs it here and there. So I'll take Fryermuth at 36.5 over and Pickett at 201 over for passing yards. So there's my only two big ones, but just throw them in there.
What are you saying, Declan?
Like
You're saying they're wasting Claypool?
Yeah, I just feel like they're not even working him in. I mean, you went and got him. What are you doing with him?
Yeah.
You know
I
what
mean, they do pick up some nasty receivers every year.
I mean, it's just like they don't have the right quarterback or honestly the right scheme. Their offensive line coordinator, their offensive coordinator is just complete cheeks, and they can't find a good one. To be honest, that's why we see Juju go over the Chiefs. You have an amazing quarterback and a guy like Andy Reid, and he writes up enough things that Juju can not look like shit. To be honest, so
Mhm.
yeah, I think it really comes down to that.
You want to
Yep.
throw the last couple bets out on it all? For the game wise? I mean,
No.
you can still talk,
I
but I'm just saying if you want to get anything out.
No,
I
I mean,
do.
I really don't have any other bets
You
other
hear
than
him?
long
He's still
term.
Declan's still talking.
All right.
Sorry. No. I'm just having trouble hearing you guys. I don't know if it's just my Skype. I've been looking at the Atlanta Tampa Bay game. I was saying that to Josh earlier, and I feel like Mariota is gonna see another rushing touchdown today. Hasn't he had at least one a week for the past 2 weeks?
Yeah, he loves to run them in. Him and
I know he does.
Ryan Tannehill are weird, but they do it.
So money line's at 370 on the Falcons. Plus they have Mariota for a same game parlay touchdown score. I'm just having trouble reading the app on it. It says first touchdown, last touchdown score, but when I place the parlay, it says last touchdown score. It's plus 3,500, $10 pays you 350. I just thought it was a good bet for that game. I'm trying to make sure on the actual terms of Mariota's bet. It says last touchdown score and the
Yeah,
bet slip.
last has to be the last player of the
Scores
whole
the game,
game.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
No, it's Bet Parks is a little muddy sometimes with their description.
yeah. They definitely are. But I like Mariota as a touchdown, anytime touchdown.
I do too. I think him for an anytime rushing touchdown in that game's a good bet. I don't see it listed as a same game parlay at a couple.
Yeah,
Him as the last touchdown's a good bet. It's hard. He's either going to get it out of the way in the beginning or he's going to do it as the last touchdown of the game. It's going to be one or the other.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I usually stay away from any first or last unless you're just trying to get some crazy same game parlay or parlay in general that you're just trying to win 1,000. But
if you're gonna add a money line to any of your bets, if you take a parlay, if there's any games that you join in, I think Atlanta's a good game to take their plus 360. Just because I don't know, Tom Brady hasn't been Tom Brady this year. I think Marcus Mariota's hot. He's gonna get at least one rushing touchdown, in my opinion. It doesn't matter where in that game. So
I like that.
You see what comes into that game. You have a lot of guys and their skills and their offensive skill set is playing, out of their ass for young guys, to be honest with you. Not a lot of like old guys on that team right now.
If you take
I think it's gonna be a good game.
Mariota anytime and you take Falcons money line, it's over plus 1,000. I want to say Patterson might be out this. Is he out this week?
Yeah,
I know he was banged up.
he's out for
so even more of a reason that
quite some time.
what's his name might get some goal line carries. Mariota.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Watch some football. I'm really hoping the Eagles pull through this week, just because I have a bad feeling. I had a bad feeling when they played the Vikings, though, because I thought the Vikings were really underrated. But the Eagles Stadium is pretty good when they're winning. Pretty good.
What's Arizona's fan culture like? I never hear people talking about how loud Arizona's stadium is.
Yeah, that is very
feel
true.
I feel like Philadelphia is going to come in there with that, big dick energy right now because we're the only undefeated team, and now they're going to either fail us or we're going to just roll right over them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why Zach Ertz ain't on the Eagles right now. If he's going to be their guy to lean on for their tight end work, I mean, I don't see that a great consistent option for Kyler to roll on all day.
Yeah, and he's not
so,
a yards after catch guy anyways, so he's not going to
not
destroy
anymore.
us.
He used to be.
I don't think he's ever been, honestly. I mean, he's got really, really good hands. Like, he never almost ever drops a ball, but he is not a yards after catch guy. He just secures it, guaranteed 10, 15
Dallas
yards.
Goedert has definitely showed that earlier in his career than he did when he was with us. Ertz had it sometimes and is more like poised part of his career, but Dallas Goedert showed that immediately after getting drafted he could do that, just catch a ball and make a play.
Yeah, I like him. They kind of both have that like aggressive mindset play.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, we got the Steelers rolling in the kickoff. Maybe we'll get a 100-yard Pickett first play.
Right,
pretty sick. But yeah. Anything to add, Caleb, for like afternoon games?
Not really. If I see anything, I'll add it to all social media. So make sure you're following Leather Helmet Fandom at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever.
I feel like most of mine are 1 o'clock games.
Because I usually throw in late, last-minute plays. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I've actually been on the shitter for locks right now, so kind of just been sitting back watching games.
Dude, I'm telling you, throw 100 on the 49ers spread. It's my favorite bet of the week. Like, if Baker Mayfield goes off this week and DJ Moore gets off this week, I'm going to drop them both in fantasy because I'll be livid.
49ers play.
I've been so tempted to drop DJ Moore in not the league we're in, Declan, but the other league I drafted him.
Oh man, I've been making funny decisions this year, man. I dropped Aaron Rodgers in a league the other night. It's not even worth keeping him. He's not playing fantasy well.
Yeah, it's like if you're not going to start him, it's a waste.
So it's not even worth keeping on the bench.
Oh
wow, we almost have a safety in the first 30 seconds.
Dude, there was a safety in the last 40 seconds in that Giants game.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Sorry, here comes the 100-yard pass.
Go Birds! Fuck the Steelers.
Talk
No, I'm
to
just
you later,
kidding.
fellas.
I hope Pickett does good. All right.
Get this game on.
Thanks all for joining. We'll talk to you another time. I know we've been busy as hell. Caleb getting his new baby boy Zane. Declan's you're expecting one soon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Congrats on that.
Hey, congrats, man.
I'm settled on my house. Life's been a little busy, but football's always there, and we'll always try to bring you some more content. All right, peace out.